So cool. What's up, guys? My name's Justin Avini. Welcome to our team celebration call. I'm excited. People are kind of hopping on, hopping in. Let's go ahead and put where you're from in the chat and maybe how long you've been coaching. It'd be kind of exciting to see. I want to really start to create the cadence of this call to get to know each other a little bit more, to create that relationship as a family basis. As we have been doing over the last 6.5 years. Really excited to be on tonight. We have some amazing announcements, some amazing stories to hear, and kind of things that we're going to go through. Like I said, my name is Justin Avini. I've been coaching 6.5 years. I'm what Optavia calls an integrated global director. Borderline presidential. We'll see how it goes this month. But just excited to be on here and kind of share with you guys some stories, some passion, some action steps, and then maybe a couple keys to success. So hopefully as you guys are hopping on, you're bringing some pads of paper. I got my pad of paper. I've been doing this a long time, still take notes. So hopefully we can get into that. So a few things. One I want to share is my screen real quick to kind of show you a couple different things going on. So one is has anybody seen, Donald, can you see my screen? I can see you. Can you put a thumbs up? So have you guys seen this November event coming up? Or if people aren't knowing about it or working towards it, one thing I will suggest for you is there is qualifications down here, guys, but sometimes they do open it up. So what I would suggest is get with your mentors. It's obviously November 7th through the 9th. These are the qualifications to attend. But as newer coaches come in, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some different qualifications for you guys. So if you don't know about this event, please get with your mentors and kind of get into action. One of the things and the conversations of tonight is how important events are. Me personally, I just got back from an event in Temecula, and I also got back from an event in Vegas because I believe in events, and events are magical. A couple other things. We have the Bahamas incentive trip, the ILAT trip. If you guys aren't sure about the rankings or how this works, if you are newer coaches or older coaches and you're just hearing about this or knowing about this, make sure we're working with which path you should be in and what's going on. So this is the Bahamas trip that's going to be next year. Qualifications are between July and December 31st. So still time to win this, plenty of time in the months to do this left in the year. So make sure we're paying attention to this and we're really working with our coaches on what's possible. This is one of my favorites, not going to lie. Why? Because I'm hosting it. So here's something that you'll know about this. This to me was something I started about 3 years ago. We only were able to do one event because we had a lot of other events kind of not really making it easy to do this. But this is what I would like to say is my version of a mini Sundance. If you guys don't know what Sundance is for Optavia or for Dr. A, it's really where Robert Redford took quite a few acres. I'm not exactly sure on how many acres, but he didn't want to make it your typical resort, and he didn't want to make it bombarded with more of a setting of people just going skiing and having a bunch of fun and kind of just taking over nature and what it really meant. So he created the Sundance Film Festival. It's a place where striving no-namers come in and try to share their stories, their passions, even do some role-playing. So Dr. A took that and ran with it as far as what we want, and being some of that in the higher coaching groups. So we don't get in there and we don't talk about, how do you sponsor a client? How do you support a client? We really get in there and take it to the next level of what's the best success for us mentally, spiritually, and really go to that next level. So for me, I wanted to bring this to you guys. Basically, it's the top 1% of the company that shows up to Sundance. Well, I wanted to bring this to you guys in a ambiance that I could appreciate too, without making it too unaffordable for you guys to go to. So there is some qualifications here. Get with your mentors. Will be held in Big Bear, California. I will actually be running some incentives here shortly as we get through these next few months on ways to be able to earn this trip too. I'll be running some incentives, some cash prizes, things like that, ways to maybe help airfare come down if you're coming from a different state or whatever. But we'll be having this February 20th weekend. And it will be our mini Sundance. We will be talking more on a spiritual level. We'll be talking more on a mindset level. We will get into some action steps, but nothing that we haven't heard before, because as we know, this is pretty much wash, rinse, repeat, right? So I'm going to get to a couple places here where I want to share some stories and some excitement. So first off, we're going to start out with Joy. My Aunt Joy is going to introduce one of her new team partners and kind of share her story and how she kind of became successful this past month.
Well, hello, everyone. I love these calls. I love these calls because it's a great way for us to get to really kind of celebrate one another and kind of share tips and feed off of one another. And I also love it because each of us come with a different story. So my story is going to be, I think, a little similar to what Monique's story is, coming from the executive world. I love what I did, but I eventually got really burned out. I was in fashion and wanted to slow down my career. And I just didn't feel great. So I jumped on the program, and I felt amazing. And my company actually ended up closing. And I had this gift in my lap. And if I didn't have it and run with it, I would be back working full time instead of being home with my twins. So I think the most important tip I want to share is sometimes we compare our stories, we compare where we are in our business. People are moving very quickly. It took me 8 months to get to ED. Okay, so I want everyone out there, remember that when they're like, wait, I haven't hit ED, it's been 4 weeks. Just don't stop. Do it a little bit each day. It's not, you don't do it during the week, you do 4 hours on the weekend. Just do a little bit each day. Our motto in our group is called #JustDon'tStop. And I'm really, really excited. Jeanette wanted to be on this call. She couldn't. She ranked up to regional director. I'm really excited for her. And her coach is Monique, who is coming on next. And she's going to share her story. She lives in structure. She's an executive. And she shared on our team call last night, and our minds were blown. So I'm excited because she's going to give you some tips on what she did, what she does to kind of balance both. So bring it on, Monique. I'm really excited.
Awesome. So hi, everyone. Thank you, Joy. I'm Monique Lenore, and I'm actually from Oakland, California, but I live in DC. I have 2 sons, ages 12 and 9. And like Joy said, I work as an executive. I actually work as a director of communications, a national director of communications for the largest scholarship provider for students of color here in DC. And so, really busy, but I love my job, and I love that I'm able to use the skills that I actually went to school for. But anyway, I decided to do the program back in January. I had actually, can you all see me? I had actually just turned 50 that previous August. So I just turned 51 this August, but I just turned 50. And I just noticed that I wasn't feeling my best, even though I was working out and I was doing all the things I had normally done, and I had put on some weight. So I knew after the holidays that I wanted to do something, and I actually saw a coworker of mine who was looking great, had great energy, and I asked her what she did, and she told me she connected me actually to Jeanette, who ended up being my coach. And so I started the program in, I guess, end of January, and by April 27th, I was down 27 pounds, and I couldn't believe it. I was feeling great, had great energy, was sleeping so much better. And I thought that was the end of it. And then I talked to Joy and Jeanette, and they asked me if I wanted to coach. And at first I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm too busy. There's so many other things going on in my life. I'm in a lot of organizations. But then I kind of thought about it, and I thought, well, this really is a company that's aligned with my passions. And I think that, I would be a really good coach, but I still wasn't thinking about actually signing on to do it until my best friend, who I had coached and gone through the program, decided that I had done such a great job coaching her. She had lost 22 pounds, and she actually signed me up to coach. So I started coaching in middle of March, and by, I guess, now, by this month, I've actually made executive director. So some of the things that I did to actually get there was I really just took this very seriously. I know that when people decide that they want to join the program, they're doing it really because of me and because of my story. And so one of the things that I told a lot of people who asked me what I did, they said, well, how did you lose the weight? And I let them know it wasn't just about weight loss, but it was about a lifestyle change and about learning healthy habits for life. And that in addition to losing the weight, a lot of people didn't know that I had been battling rheumatoid arthritis for the past couple of years. And it was really debilitating. I was actually at one point on crutches because of my knees were swollen. I had gotten cortisone shots in my knees, still working, still being a mom, still doing all the things I was doing, but I was just really struggling. And so I really wanted to not be on a lot of medications. And because of this program, I'm actually down half my medications for my rheumatoid arthritis, which really was the best, benefit for me. In addition, I know a lot of people are going to say that they love Starbucks. I love Starbucks, but I was a slave to Starbucks. I literally had a Starbucks every single morning for the past 10 years. And when I would pull up, they would run it out to my car. I would down it. And I was drinking 6 shots of caffeine every single day. So I did not want to be a slave to Starbucks anymore. Since I started the program, actually, I've only had maybe like 4 or 5 Starbucks in the past 8 months. And now I can't even finish it because I can taste all the sugar, all the additive, all the things that are not good for me. So my 3 goals were really, like I said, to kick my caffeine habit, to lose weight, but also to reduce my medication. And that's what I share with a lot of people, that it wasn't just about weight loss, but it was about a lifestyle change. And little by little, people started, start deciding to do the program. And now I think I have about 22 people who are actually actively doing the program. Most of them are my friends, family, and coworkers, and they've all consistently lost. And I just love it. I mean, it doesn't feel like a job to me. It actually feels like something that I was always called to do because I love helping people. I've always worked for nonprofits. I've always volunteered for nonprofit organizations. And I just feel like this is an extension of what I was always doing, but it's a direct connection to helping people every single day and seeing results. So I love it. I can't believe I made it executive director, but so happy that I did. But more importantly, I'm happy that I've been able to help so many people and that I continue to be able to help people just get healthy and feel good about themselves. So I love the program. And I was sharing yesterday that one of the things that I do regularly, even before we got this new set of tools around the daily text messages and checking in more regularly, was because I know that a lot of people signed up to do this program because of me. My integrity is on the line and I want them to succeed and I don't want to leave them hanging. So I check in with people on a regular basis. Sometimes it's just sending them an affirmation. Sometimes it's calling them. Sometimes it's just saying, hey, how's it going? Or can we talk? But I really do think it makes a difference when you can check in regularly with the people that you're coaching just to see how they're doing and let them know that this just wasn't something that you wanted them to sign up for, but you really do care about them achieving their goals. So I guess that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's awesome, Monique. Thank you so much. That's rocking and rolling and why you're where you're at today. That's amazing. That's amazing. So one of the things I want to share with you guys real quick is, she just talked about, and thank you so much, Monique, for speaking. Sounds like you're very busy, but you get it done anyways. So thank you for hopping on and sharing. So one of the things she's talking about is executive director, right? And one of the main things I want to focus on this next couple months actually is, I don't know if you saw, but the awesome Don Maydell posted in our group, we're going to be doing a boot camp. And what does that look like? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Donald, can you see my page right now? Okay, awesome. So iron sharpens iron, as one coach sharpens another, your path to blended ED. So we're going to be working each week with you guys starting this Saturday. If you haven't seen this or don't know what it's about, I'm going to change it up a little bit. We're not going to add groups. We're actually going to keep the focus in this group. There's a couple of reasons why, and we'll kind of get to those topics soon. But as Monique was sharing her path to executive director, or as we say, blended executive director, as you start to bring on some coaching partners, we're really going to take some of the top leaders on our team, and we're going to take you step by step each week on Saturday morning. Now, here's the cringer, and I want you guys to take some time to really think about this. We're going to get up at 6 a.m. together on Saturdays. Now, I know for us West Coasters, that's not the exciting part, but it is for me because I remember when I first started out, some of our most amazing calls were at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. In fact, we used to get up at 6 a.m. We also just got done doing the August Madness. For some of you newer coaches, that may be a panic button. But honestly, we want to make sure that we're up, we're ready, we have our coffee, and we're really focused on what we want to do. And so this boot camp here, we have some really amazing coaches. We've taken some time to kind of go through some thought process and what we're going to do. And we're literally going to, if we do these steps together, if we get on these calls, even if we have to get to the playbacks, Those early mornings, we understand, but Saturdays are busy for people. There's moms going to soccer games. There's people getting up on the West Coast the East Coast, and we didn't want to make it too much of a lag. So we're going to get up at 6 a.m. and partner over these next 8 weeks and really show you guys step by step on how to get to blended executive director, and what that looks like as far as bringing on clients and bringing on coaching partners. So it's really quick. Something else I wanted to share with you guys is this right here, how important this is for you guys. And as we're sitting here real quick, this is taking a minute to load.
Hey, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Is that 6 a.m. Pacific time or Eastern time?
Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, you're lucky.
Okay, I'm on the East Coast, so all right.
So you'll be excited. You'll have a cup of coffee then, and you'll be nice and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So you're good to go. So these are things I want you guys to kind of think about. That's a great question, Daniel. Thank you for clarifying, buddy. So these are a couple things I want you guys to see. As you can see here, executive director. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. Sorry, guys. Where's the thing at? Let me go back here. That one gets a little too complicated. So I want to keep this simple. So executive director, if you guys look at this annually, honestly, this is a third-party income to a household. Do you guys see this where my highlighter is right here? This is a third-party income to a household that can be generated just by supporting and helping people. You guys, sometimes we don't really focus on that. We think that executive director might be too far away, or if we're not understanding what it means. You are impacting lives. You are creating health and wellness in people's businesses, but you're also establishing something that may be able to help you personally get into a position where you're able to pay it forward and help other people, whether that's taking time off work, maybe that's some R&R time and really being able to take some time for themselves. Those extra massages once a month that really money doesn't allow for, or some extra date nights with the family that really doesn't allow you to do that. This is a pretty predominant position in this company. We're going to have a couple other people get on here and speak. I know we're going to have an amazing manager get on and share this. I don't know why that's edited. I know there should be an A in there, but that's all good. But just think about, have you ever asked your boss for a $7,000 a year raise? Just give me a wink or a thumbs up. I'm raising my hand, but you ever asked your boss for a $7,000 raise in a year? You think they'd really do that? You really think they'd allow you to have that? I mean, honestly, if we think about it, that's not really going to happen. Even as a senior coach, have you ever asked your boss for a $3,800 raise in a year? What do you think they do? So some of these ranks, as you guys are looking at these, I really want you to take a minute to think about where we're at. We have some integrated nationals on here that annually make $104,000 a year. That's kind of exciting. Don't need a lot of education beside it, besides loving on people and sharing. We have a system in place for that. We have a integrated global on here. We have some integrated regionals. We have some regionals on here. We have some directors on here. So really look at these price points and what makes sense for you guys as you see these ranks coming on and sharing and talking. What's possible for you and your family. Integrated executive director, you're basically having 5 senior coach partners come on with you, and you're supporting them and loving on them. And then you're carrying out yourself as an executive director, averaging between anywhere from 17 to 20 clients. You're making an additional $60,000 a year. I mean, if you really think about that, what could that do for your family? What could that do for people around you? What could that do to improve your relationships? These areas that we really want to focus on are things that can better our lives too. So just wanted to share that with you guys for a second. I think that's kind of important. So our next guest, I'm going to have Dave Harrison, who actually, just to let you know, is an integrated national. Joy is an integrated national as well. But he's going to come on and share one of our newest managers. So Dave, you want to kind of come on and share?
What's up? What's up? Wow, a lot of faces on here. This is really cool. I love these calls because, man, like Justin mentioned, I've been doing this from a while. We we grew up together. Junior high, sophomore year, Justin, I think, is when we met. And that's what's so cool about this business is you never really know where it's going to take you. Who it's going to connect you with. Whether it's somebody that's that you didn't know or it's somebody you knew for 20, 30 years. I have a health story. I lost 30 pounds in 30 days, decided to pay this forward and help my mom lose some weight. She had amazing success, 48 pounds in just about 8 weeks, came off of 14 medications. So it really kind of sparked me that, wow, Optavia is really something, you know, being from going on energy drinks and workout powders and all that other stuff, you know, trying to hit the gym 3 times a day and not eating right and never losing a pound, just kind of after a while got really redundant. And that's when I reached out to Justin. You know, with coaching, Mike was actually my mentor in the Navy. So I've known that guy for 20 years. So it's kind of cool that, you know, me and him get to partner with each other and help a lot of people. And I really want to, you know, introduce Brenda and just listen for these key things, guys, you know, when they met, how they met, how me and Mike met, how I met Justin. Like, you just never really know where Optavia is going to connect you. And I think somebody posted a picture the other day that I really liked, and it was, you never know where a hello can go. Something like that. It was pretty cool. But you really just don't. You really don't. So Brenda, are you there?
That's right.
We got you, Brenda. You're good. Go for it.
Okay, great. Okay, so August, I was really excited because I'm a director, and what that means to me is more and more lives that I'm touching. My story, I have always been someone who really enjoyed health and working out. I taught aerobics in the 80s, did bodybuilding in the 80s, and taught yoga for 13 years. And then all of a sudden, life happened, and I was in my 50s, and I couldn't walk up the stairs without huffing and puffing. So Mike Crimper had actually friended me on Facebook, and I really didn't know Mike, but I've been watching his posts. And no matter what I seemed to do, I always felt like I knew what to do to get to my goal. But no matter what I did, I just kept gaining weight. So I reached out to Mike, and I quizzed him really, really hard. And he had all of the right answers. So I actually started my journey on Thanksgiving of 2018. And in 5 months, I had lost 64 pounds and gone from a size 16 to a 6. And I wanted to start giving back right away. So actually signed up the end of December. It took a while to really get rolling with the business. We live in Missouri, and Missouri is truly a show me state, and people really watch you. And so you really have to walk the walk and be knowledgeable in what you're doing. And it's been an exciting journey too. And if I had any advice that I would give is be sincere, because people will see through it, and let them know that you truly care about them. It's not just a business for you. It's a passion, and you want to see them really succeed. Also, be very direct and ask for referrals. When you have a client, ask them, do you know someone who you've had this great non-scale victory? Do you know anyone who could benefit from that? Can you introduce me? Would you like to help them yourself? That to me is something that's very, very important. So that would be my recommendations.
I don't know if you guys know what short and sweet is, but that was amazing. I mean, honestly, if you think about what she just said right now, if we were to be consistent with what she just asked for, how many lives would get impacted? You know what I mean? Brenda, I appreciate you getting on, and I'm really excited for you. You know, usually director, if we get into this, it jumps up to executive director within a month from there. And what I want to kind of do is share with you guys real quick. We'll bring on our next guest here in a minute. But I'm going to share my screen as I've been doing for a little bit, because it's kind of important for us to see some of the things that really make sense. And like Brenda said, you know, asking for referrals, connecting with people authentically, making sure we're being real with them. I think that's a great word. So Dave, can you see my slide? Thumbs up, anybody? It's like half loaded. Is it loaded all the way? Yeah, I don't know what's up with this. I don't know what Jamil goes through. These Apple machines. I'm just kidding. Let me see if I can get this to run real quick again. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's try this one more time. I promise it should work, maybe. All right, we're going to give it a second. So be real on social media. I think that's one of the biggest things, but not only being real on social media, but being real in our lives, you know, sharing with people what we want to do, is a key thing. I really don't know why. Come on. All right, well, it's not that important. So anyways, being real and connecting with people authentically, I think one of the biggest things we really need to focus on, guys, is our stories. What do our stories look like? How do we approach people? What are we looking for? And I think a lot of the times we kind of come at people with like, oh, I don't want to get them, or I don't want to sell them, or I don't want to talk them into things. And as you guys are kind of hearing these stories over and over again, the thing is with all of this is you just connect with people where they're at. You know, when my coach reached out to me, he wasn't trying to get me. He was just trying to share something with me that was very important in his life and what had impacted him. And then he saw a friend struggling, so he reached out. You know, everybody we know out there can use some kind of coffee, as we like to say, in this aspect as far as the program. And what we're trying to do is really find those people that we need. And if we do that at consistent level, like Monique said, she basically made a decision to be serious. And what I mean by be serious, I would say, is treat it like a business. If we treat it like a hobby, we get hobby results. The frustrating part to us is like, man, nobody's taking me serious. Every time I talk to somebody, they're saying, I'm not interested, or I'm not doing this. So how we show up, how consistent we are, is going to show people what that looks like. Like Brenda said, be real, right? So whether we're posting on social media, if you're at that level on this page, make sure you're consistent with it. Make sure you're genuine and authentic. If it's something that's not you, find stuff that's you. You know, find hobbies that are you. Find things that you connect with on Facebook, things you like to post about. Grandkids, pets, travel, hiking, RVing, boating, dirt biking, knitting. I don't know, grandma's groups, Disney stuff, right? Things that make sense for you, and really connecting with those people. And then when you show up in person, out in the real world, you know, ask people questions, find out who they are. You know what's crazy is I can take about 5 minutes to connect with somebody on a real level and know more about them in 5 minutes than it used to take me years ago, like months, to find out if I even hung around them long enough. You know, you get in that fine line of being interested instead of interesting. So really pay attention to these action steps as they're kind of sharing with you guys. Desiree is having technical issues. So we're going to Karen. Miss Karen, are you there? Are you going to introduce our Miss Lauren? Can I get you off mute? Sorry.
Okay, so we do have a new senior coach in the house, and Lauren Prendeville has been a long time family friend of ours. She's been a softball player on our team, and she is my daughter's coach, and she has a loving heart, and I'd like to introduce her and have her share her story.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
Welcome.
I'm Lauren. Yeah, I just reached senior coach about a week ago. I'm really excited about it. My story is a pretty big one. I got injured at work last summer, and I was unable to work, and Melissa reached out to me as an old softball girlfriend of mine, and she explained program to me, and I lost over 55 pounds on program. Went from 185 to 130 right now. And I reached out to a couple close friends and family members about program. My dad just joined up last month, which is super exciting for me. I get to start coaching him and making him healthy. And I think some tips I would share is just, be real with people. That's the one thing that I have found is the most helpful for me, is just really like authentically caring about somebody's life and where they're at. My husband's on program. My mom's thinking about joining up soon. And a couple of my best friends are some of my clients. And I'm just eternally grateful for Optavia and our coaching family. And it's really helped me like every day, you know, live in structure, live my best life. So yeah, some tips I would say is just be real with people, really get to know them, take some time and, you know, tell them that you care about them and yeah, get to know their story.
Awesome. Thank you so much for getting on, Laura. I know you had to just get out of work,
Yeah,
but
no worries.
I appreciate you hopping on. I love it.
Yeah.
Doing it anyways. We talk about doing it anyways, guys. I mean, honestly, these events, these rank up calls, these trainings, if you guys have opportunities to get on this stuff, here's a question I'll ask you. And you guys wink at me, blink at me, wave your hand. Have you guys seen schooling, right? We've seen schooling. We've seen people going to seminars for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in a weekend, right? Has anybody ever heard of somebody going to a seminar for like $4,500, $2,500, $5,000, just went to some, leadership training of some sort? Do you guys realize that we have that for free? For a $199 kit, we have that for free. So if I can encourage you guys, if you have local events in your area, get to those events, even if it's $100 in a babysitting fee, or it's making the wife happy to get out, or making the husband happy to get out, whatever that is, and going with them, creating some fun behind it. The importance of events are magical. The importance of these trainings at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or Wednesday night team calls or rank up calls or whatever they are, these events are valuable information that's just going to move your businesses forward. Most of these people you hear on here tonight are the same as you. They have the same style stories. They had certain areas of their life they were struggling in, whether that was physically, mentally, or financially, right? Most of us on here are physically, mentally, or financially. We're coaches. So something in there triggered us to financially get stable, to mentally get stable, and to physically get stable. And usually it starts with our physical, a lot of us. These are keys to success. So I'm hoping that my slides, cross fingers, we're going to see how this goes, will actually load this time, because there's some simple things that we can do. Let's see how this goes. Ha! Beat ya. See what I mean? Consistency works every time, even with your screens. Anyways, so be real on social media. Be you. Like I said, don't go into a bunch of weight loss groups. Don't go into a bunch of fitness groups. Don't go talk to the nearest gym people. This, not just in social media, but in day-to-day stuff. Don't just go to places where you feel like weight loss is the key. Remember, how many of us know that we're not a weight loss company? Can you raise your hands for who I can see right now on the screen? Karen, are we a weight loss company? Okay, just checking. Monique, Stacy, Deb, Lauren, we're not a weight loss company, right? So why do we go talk to just fitness trainers? Why do we just go talk to weight loss groups? Why do we go, try to find those people within weight loss? Have fun with this. Be you on social media and be you in real life. If hiking's your niche, if animals are your niche, like I mentioned, do those things. Aim to inspire others with your wall. Check your wall. If you were reading your wall, would you want to be on your wall? Would you want to pay attention to it? That's a big thing, right? Consistency in expanding your list, your audience, adding people all the time, from mommy's groups. I mean, I mentioned this already, hikes, people you meet in person. Move to the convo to the phone. You know what I mean? That's an important thing we want to do. Also in real life, like in person. Most of us are like, well, I'm going to give my number to them and I gave them my information. Hopefully they call me. No. Please don't do that. If you're in a grocery store, if you're in that conversation, if you've taken a few minutes to be, what did we say? Be real, be you. Inspire them with your wall. Inspire them in person. Your wall is you, right? When you show up in person, we share our story. Move it to the phone, but ask them for their number. Hey, what's a good number to reach you? What's a good email to reach you? Get their connection. Don't just hand off your phone number and hope and pray that they get back to you, and then the chatter kicks in why they didn't call you, because life happens and they're busy, right? We talk about sharing our story with passion. I just mentioned that. Don't try to get or hook anyone. Jamil didn't try to get or hook me. He reached out to me. It took me about 7 months to show up, and I was finally in a position where I was over it. I was tired. I didn't want to deal with my boss's mouth anymore. So it was better to try something else that I had heard about and I reached out to him and it changed my life, right? Be consistent. The biggest thing I will share with you guys, oh my God, come on, go back. There you go. The biggest thing I will share with you guys is people look for that stop. People look for, oh, they're starting to fade. People look for that. I'm just being real for a second. People look for that fade. People look for you to, okay, well, that was just a fad. They're not into it anymore. Or people are looking for you to be, you know, fading out. I already said that. But as far as DIA, what I want to mean by that is if you're tired, if you're sick, I remember going to work sick. I remember being up on a roof, pissed off, angry, have headaches, have cold shakes, have shivers, have runny noses. I would still show up to work. Some of us have that opportunity not to do that. But as a parent, we don't have that opportunity, right? So whatever mindset you want to get in, DIA, do it anyways. What are our goals? What are our visions? Where do we want to show up? Because when we go to jobs, we work those jobs because there's a mindset of we might get fired. We need to pay bills. So what do? We do it anyways, even if we don't want to. What's really interesting for me is we don't do this anyways. When this has a vehicle, like I mentioned to you, hey, I want a $7,000 raise. Well, we can show you how to do that. Hey, I want a $60,000 a year raise. Well, hey, I can show you how to do that. Hey, I want a $1,000 a year raise. Well, hey, I can show you how to do that. How do you do that? Almost like treating this like a job. You do it anyways. The only difference is you don't get fired. So it's easy not to do sometimes. So listen, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Nobody is perfect on this journey together. You don't have to be strategically structured and dialed in and 100% with anything you're doing. But if you're being consistent with whatever you're doing a little bit day by day, that's what makes this thing go round. Honestly, when I started this, I was saying all the wrong things, but I was in action. I was sharing with people my story. That was the main thing, sharing with people my story. Whether you're a stranger, whether you're a friend, it didn't matter. I shared my story and I did it consistently. That's one of the main focuses. And have fun with it. I had a blast doing this. So what does that look like? Honestly, the slide's one of the coolest slides ever. Why? Because it falls right in line with what time of the year it is. So August, guys, all this energy we're doing, one of the things we need to realize is I didn't show up in the first month, right? When Jamil talked to me. In fact, you got to add one more month to here to February is actually when I showed up. This is when he talked to me around this time. And I said, no, not today, man. I'm not interested in your spaceship food. I'm not interested in your program. I'm not interested in this mouse going crazy on me. Always a good time, right? So anyways, the point of that is I didn't show up right away. And we really need to understand that. We're not trying to get people. But if we want to get into our action, if we want to get into our goals, if we want to get those things planted in our head, that if we share with people today and we stay consistent, they eventually start to show up. They really do. And you start to build energy. You guys will look out and we talk about comparative realities. Oh my God, Susie's signing all these people up in December. They said that's one of the worst months because everybody's on vacation. It's Christmas time. Nobody can afford it because they're buying presents. And the years are on the corner. They're not going to start till January. But they were over here. That's where all those clients came from. They were over here. That's where all those clients came from. The thing is we watched what they do here, but we didn't see what was back here, right? Michael Jordan says one thing. He says, I'm sorry you didn't see me working the 14-hour days in the gym 7 days a week. I'm sorry you only saw me be able to jump that slam dunk or shoot that three-pointer 5 times in a row. But I'm sorry you didn't see me 52 weeks out of the year, 7 days a week, training 14-hour days, 16-hour days, getting massages, stretching, exercising, doing all those things to be able to make those games that December look amazing. So guys, do yourselves a favor. Consistency is key. We start over here. We start here. We start here. We have to look 3 and 4 months out. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you guys build this up enough in these months, you will start to find people show up right away. You will start to find those people. I'm proof in the pudding. I literally duplicated my actions of what my coach asked me to do. And in 30 days, I brought on 28 clients. How did I do that? Accumulatively, I probably slammed 6 months worth of connecting with people because I had free time. I quit my job. I was like, well, if I have more time, why not do more of these action steps? The action steps are there. The systems are there. We lean on our coaches. We follow the process. I wanted to make $2,000 a month. I ended up making $3,100 my first month. Results not typical. This is being recorded. But my point is possible. I was a construction guy. I hated Facebook. I didn't want a Facebook. I didn't know how to use a smartphone. I didn't know how to use emails. I was CCing people instead of BCCing people. The thing is if you get into action and you're consistent with it, if you share your story with a passion, like it said in big letters, this thing can blossom for you. But remember, you have to have that little bit of hope and that faith. And then based on your goals is how many people we connect with a day. So one last thing I want to go through real quick is one of our favorite things, and that is, hopefully this shares, is our ranks for this rank up, right? So we have me as Integrated Global. We have Joy, Don Maydell on here. David Harrison should actually be on here. Sorry, brother. We will get you on there. So these are pretty predominant positions, guys. We had mentioned, how much you can be making a year. This is an executive income with still, like I said, a $199 business kit. A lot of people look at, well, I bought the program and I bought the business kit. The business kit is your investment, the food you eat, right? If we're a client or we're going to Starbucks or we're going to an Outback Steakhouse, it's just food. You don't consider that an investment when you go eat dinner, right? So at $199 business kit, these guys are able to make an executive income to a certain level. Some are higher and lower than others, percentages range, but minimum $60,000 a year is something that's kind of exciting, right? And that's really something you can do. And a lot of this is on a part-time or full-time basis, depending on what you want to do. But I'll tell you what, to have the time freedom to do this and allow this to be able to stay home with your kids, I'd take these all day long. So this is top 3% of the company. This is probably like top 1% of the company. But these are pretty cool positions. We got to hear from Monique, which I think is amazing. This is probably top 8% of the company. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Top 8% of the company. Jeanette, she's actually up in the top 4 to 5% on this business as well, and really doing well. Brenda, she hit director. She's rocking and rolling. She said, be real, be authentic, right? Share your story. She's doing amazing too. She'll probably be up here to executive director in no time flat. And as we do this boot camp, guys, we're talking about, she'll probably be up into integrated executive director over the next 2 months as we really start to understand why bringing on business partners makes sense and how many lives you can impact. We have Mitch Pryan and Craig and Valicia Beeson. Hopefully I said that right, at Springfield. They just hit manager. They should be up here to executive director by the time we finish with this boot camp if we're making those decisions. We have Wayne and Debbie Carney out of Kingsman on Cripper's team, senior coach. Daniel Grimmett, our boy. David Harrison, my good friend too. We have Lauren. She got to share tonight. She was actually able to get off work and hop on. DIA is like we like to call it. Thank you so much. We have Don Maydell, Joy. Like I said, David Harrison's in here. We have Jeanette Palmer really rocking and rolling with her frontline and taking care of that and making sure she's supporting probably anywhere from 30 to 40 clients at this point, which I think is kind of cool, right? There's a good pool of coaching partners in there. We talk about 1 in 5 and what that really looks like. We have new health coaches that came in, Wendy Staggs, Lucy Ewell, if I say that correctly, I might hack that, sorry, Ernie Gonzalez, Melissa Hine. Really excited for these guys. We want to celebrate people because it's important to celebrate. And one of the coolest things is we kind of partner and get to know each other. We're going to be celebrating more and more through different events, local regional events, outer events. One thing, if I can share with you before we hop off, we're actually finishing a little bit early. Guys, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I just drove from Temecula, California, which is about an hour and a half from my house in traffic, all the way up to Vegas to do events. Events are magical. I will come help you guys do an event. I've already said this. Events are magical. If you don't have an event in your local area, Karen knows. I went up and stayed the night at her house. She's about 9 hours from me. Dawn Schumann's on here. She's in South Carolina. I flew out. We did a NASCAR 4 or 5 events. If I can't beat it into your guys' heads politely, please, if there's no events around you guys, create some. Create them at your house. Share with people at a high level, and I'll come help you guys do that, and your mentor coaches will as well. So we'll see you guys soon. Please look for the boot camp this Saturday. Get connected with your business coach. This Saturday, 6 a.m. Hey, baby girl. This Saturday, 6 a.m. we'll be on there. We'll be focusing on action steps, literally simplified and broken down. If we do these over the next 8 weeks, There's really no reason we shouldn't be a blended executive director and almost on our way to FIBC, which is fully integrated business coach. I appreciate you guys for being on. Sorry, I think I'm kind of losing my voice. One thing I will say is hope that everybody today, out there is in a place of peace with what has happened for today. Today was a day that was important for a lot of people, not in a positive way, but I hope you guys are out there making the best of what people's lives need to be, because there is hurt in the world, and today kind of represents that. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you guys next month. All right. Actually, we'll see you this Saturday.